In a world so eager to define our worth, who actually holds the reins of our self-value? Is it the people surrounding us, always observing and assessing, or could it be something more profound, something anchored within ourselves? Every action we take can be critiqued, praised, or dismissed, creating an environment where it's easy to feel as if our sense of worth is subject to everyone else's opinions. But let me offer an insight drawn from ancient Stoic philosophy. True self-worth comes not from the approval of others, but from within ourselves. When we stop looking outside for validation and begin looking within, we discover an authentic, resilient source of self-worth that no one can diminish. Today, we'll explore how embracing Stoic principles can reshape our understanding of self-worth, help us resist societal expectations, and lead us toward a more meaningful life. This isn't about a quick boost in confidence or superficial tips to brush off negativity. We're delving deeply into timeless wisdom to challenge the norms of validation and ask you to consider some fundamental shifts. If you're open to questioning conventional ideas about approval, and if you're curious about a Stoic approach to finding lasting self-value, then you're in the right place. Let's dig in. One of the most pervasive traps we encounter is the dependence on external validation. In modern society, it's nearly impossible to escape this allure. We are constantly surrounded by reminders that our worth might just be tied to our social media presence, our physical appearance, or our professional achievements. The quest for likes, compliments, and accolades becomes like an addictive chase for temporary boosts in self-esteem. But Stoic philosophy, originating over 2,000 years ago, exposes the flaws in this mindset. Stoics believed that genuine happiness and self-worth are rooted in virtues, qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation, rather than in the opinions or judgments of others. This philosophy teaches us that things outside our control, such as how others perceive us, have no bearing on our intrinsic value. Imagine a life where your inner peace isn't at the mercy of an unkind remark or a negative comment online. Imagine not feeling the need to constantly check notifications to determine if you're worthy of recognition. Stoicism isn't just about withstanding life's challenges. It's about freeing yourself from giving undue importance to external praise or criticism. Think about the times you posted something online and then found yourself checking for reactions. That rush of approval might feel rewarding initially, but it fades quickly, and soon you're searching for the next validation fix. This cycle can be mentally draining, slowly eroding your self-reliance and leading you further away from inner contentment. And this search for validation extends beyond the digital realm, affecting our daily lives and choices. We adjust our behavior, change our appearance, and even reshape our goals to align with what we think will earn us the most approval. But Stoicism offers us a crucial insight. When we allow others to determine our happiness, we surrender control of our peace. We become reliant on opinions that can change in an instant, leading us on unsteady ground. The Stoics present an alternative, building an inner citadel, fortified by self-approval and personal values. This is not a disregard for others. It's simply refusing to let external opinions dictate your sense of self. When we stop needing validation from the outside and start validating ourselves from within, we regain power and freedom. We begin to make choices that resonate with who we truly are, rather than creating a version of ourselves that caters to others' expectations. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and it requires consistent effort, but it is deeply freeing. It allows us to pursue a life that aligns with our own definitions of success and integrity, rather than living reactively to the praise or critique of others. Stoic philosophy presents a powerful approach to self-worth that's refreshingly different from the standards of our time. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, renowned Stoic philosophers, offered insights that urge us to look inward for our sense of worth, rather than relying on the unstable measure of external feedback. Let's explore how Stoic principles help cultivate a stable sense of self-worth. The Stoic view is that true worth isn't something you acquire or lose through the praise or disapproval of others. It's an intrinsic part of you, rooted in your virtues and the integrity of your choices. This means that your worth doesn't fluctuate based on the number of followers you have, the compliments you receive, or the accomplishments others acknowledge. External validation isn't inherently bad, but it shouldn't be the foundation of your self-worth. Stoics believe that self-worth is built on living in alignment with your virtues and values. Qualities like honesty, courage, and kindness. The core of self-worth, according to Stoicism, lies in being truthful with yourself and acting in ways you can stand by. It's about making choices that reflect your character, not adjusting to fit shifting expectations. For example, are you acting justly, even when it's difficult? Are you staying true to your principles in the face of temptation? This form of self-worth is durable because it doesn't rely on changing circumstances or outside opinions. It is self-creating and self-sustaining. One way to build this internal foundation is through the Stoic practice of daily reflection. By regularly evaluating your actions and aligning them with your core values, you cultivate self-respect that's independent of others' opinions. Each evening, Stoics would reflect on their day, not to criticize themselves, but to assess how well they lived up to their values. This ritual serves as a reminder that self-worth is defined not by fleeting opinions, but by a steady commitment to living virtuously. The Stoic approach doesn't mean you ignore others' feedback altogether. Rather, it encourages discernment. External feedback can serve as helpful information, but it doesn't define you. When you cultivate a resilient self-worth, feedback, whether positive or negative, becomes a tool for growth, not a determinant of your value. This stability allows you to respond to life with integrity, grounded in an unshakable understanding of who you are. The courage Stoicism speaks of goes beyond facing physical danger. It's the courage required to stay true to yourself, to uphold your values despite external pressures. This inner courage is foundational to Stoicism. It's the bravery to act authentically, regardless of whether it leads to approval or disapproval from others. Living courageously in this way requires self-reflection and honesty. It's about questioning not just what you do, but why you do it. Are your actions motivated by genuine beliefs? Or are they shaped by a desire for acceptance? Inner courage is about resisting the temptation to seek comfort in others' approval. Imagine standing up for a principle you believe in, even when it's unpopular. Stoic courage lies in the conviction to follow your moral compass, trusting that it will guide you in the right direction. Living with this kind of courage liberates us from dependence on approval. By making choices that align with our core values, we achieve a level of freedom that external validation can never provide. This form of courage, rooted in self-respect, enables us to live with authenticity and conviction, shaping a life that reflects our true selves. When people think of Stoicism, vulnerability is rarely the first word that comes to mind. Yet Stoicism doesn't deny our human vulnerabilities. Rather, it embraces them as an essential part of growth. In Stoic philosophy, vulnerability isn't a weakness to hide, but a natural part of being human. By recognizing our vulnerabilities, we engage in genuine self-reflection and transform potential weaknesses into strengths. Stoicism acknowledges that all humans experience emotions, missteps, and insecurities, It's not about pretending to be impervious, but about learning to navigate these human experiences with reason and acceptance. Vulnerability in this context means accepting your own fears and flaws, not to wallow in them, but to face them with courage and honesty. Why is vulnerability considered a strength in Stoic practice? Because it requires immense courage to confront your weaknesses openly rather than burying them. It's about acknowledging areas for growth and working through them constructively. This approach builds resilience, a form of strength that's not rooted in avoidance, but in self-awareness and wisdom. When you embrace vulnerability, you transform fear into an opportunity for personal growth. Moreover, embracing vulnerability allows for deeper and more authentic relationships. When you're open about your struggles, you create a space for empathy and mutual support. Stoicism promotes community, built on honesty and virtuous interactions. By sharing your vulnerabilities, you encourage others to do the same, fostering a supportive environment where true connections can thrive. Accepting vulnerability aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control. While we can't control every emotion or every event, we can choose how we respond. Vulnerability thus becomes a practice in self-control and intentional action, enhancing our ability to live authentically and resiliently. Resilience is often viewed as the ability to withstand challenges, but in Stoicism, resilience encompasses a deeper philosophy. Stoic resilience isn't just about bouncing back from hardship. It's about embracing challenges as tools for growth. The Stoic distinction between what we can and cannot control plays a central role in building resilience, directing us to focus on our responses rather than circumstance. The Stoic practice of the evening reflection strengthens resilience by encouraging us to view each day as a learning experience. Through this introspective habit, Stoics review their actions, not with the intent to regret, but to refine. This creates a mindset that views setbacks as opportunities to practice virtue and cultivate inner strength. The concept of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, is another powerful Stoic practice for resilience. By visualizing potential hardships, we mentally prepare ourselves to handle challenges calmly if they arise. This isn't pessimism, but rather a mental rehearsal for life's inevitable adversities. It allows us to greet hardships with steadiness and resolve, reducing the shock and fear that often accompany unexpected difficulties. Lastly, the Stoic idea of amor fati, loving one's fate, fosters a resilient mindset that embraces all of life's experiences as essential to personal growth. Stoics strive to accept and even appreciate life's challenges, viewing them as opportunities to strengthen character. This mindset shifts our perspective from "why did this happen?" to "how can I grow from this?" The Stoic journey emphasizes not only resilience but authenticity. While Stoicism encourages empathy and community, it also underscores the importance of living in alignment with our own principles, free from the constraints of external pressures. Following your path isn't about disregarding others. It's about ensuring that your choices reflect your true values. The Stoic concept of self-sufficiency fosters emotional independence. This doesn't mean Stoics lack empathy or connection. Rather, they find contentment within themselves. By grounding their happiness in virtues and reason, Stoics cultivate a peace that remains steady amid life's fluctuations. This self-sufficiency is essential for authentic living, as it frees us from the need to conform to societal expectations. Following your path also aligns with the Stoic principle that the obstacle is the way, as they call it. Stoics view obstacles as opportunities to practice virtue. Each challenge on your path is an invitation to strengthen your resolve, patience, and integrity. By focusing on your unique journey, every difficulty becomes a chance to cultivate qualities that define your character. Authentic living requires personal responsibility. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control events, we can control our responses. This autonomy is both empowering and challenging. It means that happiness and meaning are created within us, not handed to us by others or by circumstance. Daily reflection, a Stoic cornerstone, helps maintain this focus, ensuring that each day aligns with our deeper values and intentions. Ultimately, following your own path is about building a life that reflects your values, shaped not by external validation, but by inner conviction. In this journey, Stoicism offers a guide to living with integrity, compassion, and wisdom, creating a legacy not defined by fleeting praise, but by a life lived authentically and purposefully. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. As you walk your path, remember that every moment is an opportunity to live virtuously, to build resilience, and to find fulfillment within. Stoic philosophy does more than prepare us to withstand challenges. It redefines resilience itself, transforming setbacks into opportunities for growth and self-mastery. At its core, Stoic resilience is about understanding and respecting the dichotomy of control. This principle urges us to differentiate between what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, and what we cannot, like the actions or reactions of others and random events in life. Far from being a passive resignation, this focus on control is an empowering practice, allowing us to direct our energy effectively. By focusing only on what we can influence, we conserve our mental resources, enabling us to stay grounded amid life's unpredictable challenges. Stoicism also teaches us about perception management, a cornerstone of resilience. How we perceive a challenge directly impacts how we respond. If we see difficulties as insurmountable, we're likely to feel overwhelmed. But if we reframe these challenges as tests of our character and resolve, we become more capable of meeting them with a constructive mindset. This perspective shift doesn't lessen the hardship itself. Instead, it strengthens our ability to face it with dignity and purpose. Another essential Stoic tool for resilience is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This practice encourages us to anticipate and mentally prepare for possible setbacks. Rather than being pessimistic, it trains our minds to handle adversity more calmly when it arises, reducing the shock and disappointment that can accompany unexpected events. It's essentially resilience training for the mind, helping us to remain calm and pragmatic regardless of the situation. Moreover, resilience in Stoicism is about staying true to our values even when external pressures try to sway us. This idea is beautifully captured in the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of faith, or Stoics strive not only to accept whatever life brings, but to embrace it as necessary for their moral and philosophical development. This acceptance isn't about passivity. Rather, it's about actively choosing to see growth potential in all experiences, good or bad. In practical terms, building resilience through Stoicism means developing a mindset that views life's challenges as essential to our personal and ethical development. It's about fostering an inner strength that doesn't crumble under pressure, but instead becomes more fortified with each challenge. Focusing on one's own path in life isn't about isolating oneself or dismissing the value of others' guidance. It's about living a life that's genuinely your own, free from the influence of societal expectations or the desires of others. The Stoic approach to focusing on one's path is rooted in emotional and intellectual self-sufficiency. Stoicism teaches us to develop inner fortitude, so our happiness isn't overly dependent on external events, people, or outcomes. This focus doesn't imply emotional detachment, but rather a profound sense of internal balance. Stoics aim to cultivate a state where external circumstances don't disproportionately affect their inner peace. When we live by our own judgments, guided by reason and virtue, we can navigate life's challenges with clarity and purpose. Consider Marcus Aurelius, who, despite the pressures of ruling an empire, remained dedicated to his Stoic principles. He didn't just govern for the sake of authority. He led with personal integrity, guided by his own ethical compass. His reflections urge us to ask ourselves, are we making choices because they're right or because we crave approval? Stoicism invites us to examine whether our actions are motivated by a desire to align with our values or by a fear of judgment. Another principle closely tied to focusing on one's path is the idea that the obstacle is the way. In Stoic thought, obstacles aren't merely hindrances, they are opportunities for growth. Every challenge we face becomes a chance to apply virtues such as courage, wisdom, and justice. This mindset reshapes our perspective, turning life into a journey of continuous learning and self-improvement. Living authentically also involves taking full responsibility for our actions. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control what happens to us, we have absolute control over how we respond. Focusing on our path, therefore, means taking responsibility for our actions and their outcomes. Instead of blaming others or circumstances for our failures, we look within to see what we can change or improve. This autonomy is both liberating and demanding. It requires vigilance to avoid the temptation of following the crowd or opting for the easy way out. Stoic practice encourages daily reflection, a time to assess our actions and ensure we remain true to our commitments. Ultimately, focusing on your own path is about crafting a life that's true to who you are, unshaped by external pressures, but instead molded by thoughtful choices and virtuous conduct. Stoicism provides a compass, guiding us to make decisions that are not only expedient but morally sound, contributing to a life of genuine fulfillment. Thank you for engaging with this exploration of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism is not just about enduring life's trials. It's about transforming them into opportunities for growth, wisdom, and inner peace. As we each navigate our own paths, let's allow Stoic teachings to illuminate our journey, helping us make choices that reflect integrity, resilience, and purpose. Remember, the journey to a Stoic life is about more than just surviving difficulties. It's about using them as stepping stones to a deeper understanding of ourselves. As you continue on your path, embrace each moment with courage. Let Stoicism be your guide and cultivate a life that reflects your true values.